Okay. And then let me share with you, yeah, the agenda for tonight. Uh, Not that. There we go. Yeah, and so I've gotten so much great feedback from folks, as we kind of build this project together. Um, I really want these Monday evenings to be as useful to as many people as possible. So perhaps putting a little bit more structure on them, will help us all kind of maybe stay awake through the presentation if or kind of go back to it and see what the highlights were, what was attempted, and to also help us. So I think on the neuroscience side, I do feel a thread about where I'm trying to take you, but on the organization side, I haven't really kind of dug into the expertise that's here in the room. Um, and so I think the agenda may help us kind of spend a little bit more time on helping us kind of launch. Well, I mean, so our nonprofit is launched, but I mean, lots of launches kind of fail eventually, right? So I want to make this thing as stable as possible for lots of reasons. Um, so that's the agenda for this evening. There are 10 points. Um, uh, we do have one member with us. I think Bob Regan. I think you haven't been with us before, so I welcome you to our Monday session. Or maybe I'm wrong if I missed you in previous Mondays.
Well, this is my first time. I'm a first timer.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I hope you I hope I've got something to help you with, but most importantly, hearing from other folks' experiences and your own experiences this is a chance for that to happen live, and unfiltered without paging through emails. But please speak up at any time, right? If something's not clear, or if you want to hear from others that are in the room with us. Um,
I'm in Nashville, by the way, so that's my zip code at the moment.
gotcha. Where is that, Bob?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee. Gotcha, gotcha. Are you also in Tennessee, Ken Heidkamp, right now? Are you?
No, I'm back in Connecticut.
Right, gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Um, So the overview of the agenda, I mean, I'll talk kind of about the organization, about what we're so kind of points 3, 4, 5 are about kind of where's GloveWorks kind of right now, and where are we going as an organization? And then points 6 and 7, and please let me know if these are too small. I like that I can get all 10 on the screen, but maybe that's asking too much. 6 and 7, right, is to really hear updates from you all and see if you can help me kind of identify highlights of things that need more work and for our next meeting. Um, and then I would like to kind of dig back into the neuroscience presentation to kind of as we all try to learn more about Parkinson's and for me, selfishly, trying to learn more about the efficacy of the glove. There are so many pathways involved, and trying to tease out the how how could the glove be possibly working? On what pathways is it working? Um, so that we can, with knowledge of those pathways, we can do a better job of tuning the glove to the individual. Um, and then, kind of 9 and 10, I hope to talk about where do we want to go in January, schedule topics and action items for the next meeting. Um, any any questions or observations on the agenda? I I've been a king. I've not been following Robert Rules of Order. I haven't asked anybody to approve the agenda, but I think that's implied, in how we operate, right? Um, so um, okay, cool. Then let's get into the succinct update. So uh, I feel. I feel like an amazing, and a burden is not the really right word. It's been super, super exciting, but for the first time today, we have cleared the wait list. So we are literally we've shipped more than 125 gloves. I've got 10 gloves that will go out tomorrow, and 5 more this week, and that will clear the waiting list. Um, we have inventory in parts, not in assembled gloves. We have inventory for 50 more pair. Um, we've made 100 since June, um, and I think we're getting better at this, right? In some sense, we're getting better at making them. Are they the right gloves for the individuals? That's the feedback that we need. Um, and I think also we're seeing them kind of sunset, and I'm not sure, what's kind of failing first. Is it the motors or the batteries? Are there other connections? So there's still a lot to learn about that. But as far as production goes, um, I've got about 10 college interns and about 20 high school interns and half a dozen volunteers. Um, and it's growing. The more kids that get involved, their friends actually want to get involved as well.
That's
Um, well, yeah, there's lots of things to talk about there, but this is supposed to be succinct was the word I got from my advisor here, so I won't elaborate there, but I'm happy to answer more questions. Um, so that's production numbers and stocks, and what about the users of the glove? So I threw out for a couple of reasons. So I've asked you guys, some of you, for photographs and for testimonials, and those are really powerful in me sharing what we're doing with our students and our makers and the builders of these things. Um, but but those things aren't as useful as I try to talk to neurologists about preparing clinical trials. And so just to begin, I made kind of hopefully the simplest two-question survey, and that's this one. Um, and let me get this as big as possible. Um, and so, and I asked 130 people, and I got 37 responses so far. How often do you wear your gloves, right? And just over half said they wear them daily. That's the recommended, the recommendation is 4 hours a day. I didn't kind of get in too far into the weeds. Half the folks are wearing them daily, 32% are wearing them occasionally, and 16% are wearing them never, right? For various reasons, right? You guys can understand all walks of life have been kind of burdened with Parkinson's. And so there's various reasons why people, aren't wearing them. But of the half that are wearing them daily, I don't expect substantial, quality of life for people that aren't wearing them or wearing them moderately. But we're seeing, close to 11% reporting a significant impact on their quality of life, with another 40.5% reporting a moderate impact. And again, I haven't, future studies will tease this out. But in a couple other bullet points on the agenda, I will talk about, as we enter kind of preparing for clinical trials, it's really, really important for them to even understand how many people should they enlist in the trial, right? What's the size effect? What's the impact of the gloves? So this is just a very rough kind of thumbnail sketch of what's there. Um,
Dave,
of
can I
course,
ask a question real quick?
yeah, Margaret.
So you've got there's 37 responses for both. Um, is it safe to assume, I don't know if you looked at it, but the top one with folks using the gloves either occasionally or never accounts for about 48%,
Yeah,
right? And then
yeah,
down here, 48% accounts for folks experiencing negligible
yeah, yeah.
help. So are those the same?
That's a good question. I haven't sifted
Oh,
that
okay.
through, but it's that, as you say, that it can't be a coincidence, right? I think those should be the same, but I have not done it. I I am doing it as I'm building kind of the IRB, the institutional review board questions for what's going to go in the questions for the app and the questions for the form to take this to the next level. But I haven't done it.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
curious.
Any other questions or observations? Are these numbers surprising to you guys or concerning or
I'm surprised.
Uh, you surprised?
I'm
I
not
was going to
surprised.
say that I wondered if let's see, 37%. It'd be kind of like about a third of all the people that have received gloves responded so far. Is that about right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I don't know, what's the meaning of that because maybe the other people are having incredible results and they just didn't have the time to respond. We don't know, right?
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I mean it's the it's the nature of our kind of informal enterprise, right? That I haven't and
This is where we got to start somewhere.
yeah, that's it. That's it. And I'm hoping, and again, I'm an optimist, but I'm hoping as the app gets rolled out in the spring, that it will facilitate more easy contact. There are still people that are struggling to fill out forms and things like that, right? And for various reasons. And so, I mean, I still see by getting about a third of them back still seems to be, it again, maybe I'm not an optimist. It's something, right? So. Um, Lauren, did you want to speak?
Yeah, I had trouble filling it out because I have in some cases, a significant result, and
Mhm.
in some cases, a moderate result.
Yeah,
And not having a definition of these terms, it was hard for me to accurately represent my experience.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah. So that's another, and trying to keep it as simple as possible, then it becomes too simple, right?
Right,
Oversimplified. I don't mean too
right,
simple, but
right.
yeah, yeah. So it's not meant to be, um, yeah, it's meant to be a broad brushstroke, way kind of out there thing on whether it's having any impact at all, right? So I think that's the first. Um,
Right.
for the neurologists that I'm talking to, that's the first thing they really want to kind of try to quantify. And they also want to see, are people being honest with you, Steve, right? And so I think it's pretty good that people told me that 48%, 48.6 were a negligible effect, right? So it's a sobering number, but it's 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 good. But as you say, Laura, I don't really know how many folks were having significant impacts that weren't able to get to the form.
So Steve, I'm sure you're thinking already or have a list of more questions that you would
Yeah,
eventually ask sooner or later. It seems like one of the early on ones I'd be totally curious is how many hours a day or how many hours a week are
yeah,
people using them,
hmm
right?
hmm yeah, yeah,
Is that on the list somewhere?
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
Steve, Ken
Ken.
here. A couple of things come to mind based on Dr. Tass's published results, and in Conwar, he informed us that if you were active while wearing the gloves, that was better impact than if you were sitting around. Also, it seems that the age of being diagnosed, because he was an early onset Parkinson's, and he seemed to have the biggest impact
Yeah.
versus. So I'm thinking
Yeah,
like if we want to capture like what you're doing along with time, Lauren and everything else. But what were you doing? Were you walking? Were you watching TV?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
what I'm doing now is when I get up in the morning, I do my stretching exercises. I put the gloves on, so for at least an hour, I've got the gloves on while I'm exercising.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I think if you look at the rice sort of picking 2 years as sort of a benchmark, I found that if a person was too far gone, the gloves didn't help.
hmm
Or if you have negligible effects of Parkinson's now, you can't have a great impact because you don't have a great disease.
Yeah,
So if there's not a lot to go after, it's not good. And if there's too much to go after, it's a hopeless case.
yeah, yeah. So knowing kind of the age of the individual and then how long have they been diagnosed as well, for sure. Yeah, yeah, um,
And
yeah.
I too was sort of intrigued that Tass's group did seem to have a lot of early onset
Hmm.
candidates.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because there's three people that sort of participated in videotapes afterwards,
hmm
and all three of them were young.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I can, I'll just jump in with one other observation coming from the Rice team. They're going into beta testing, and they're going to be tracking with video like of how you're responding to certain to a benchmark test, get the benchmark, and then see how things change over time.
hmm hmm
So maybe your app, well, not necessarily for video, but you could get some basic baseline measures on whatever, and then see how that changes over time.
Yeah, yeah. I
That's what I
definitely,
like about your whole idea about the app.
yeah, we will definitely have that. We'll have voice and gait information over time in a non-invasive way. So it'll
Mhm.
be, it'll be, we'll get much better response rates, at least for the people that, that actually acquire the app. And the app will be free, so there's hopefully no barrier other than technology to throwing the app on the phone. So, um,
One last comment.
yeah,
There's the group up in Oregon, Synergy, that ran the medical trial.
right.
And that is, I've never tried to reach out to them, but they actually ran probably the largest trial so far. And they had ways of checking whether you were wearing the glove or not.
Yeah. So yeah, I've only seen abstracts from meetings that they've attended, and it was pretty. Um, I had trouble getting anything out, any data out of what they were talking about. But I think that's the group initially that's that TOS reached out to them. They were like, they were working with TOS.
Yeah, they built the gloves for Toss, and then
Yeah,
got in an argument with him, and they started just going out on their
on
own.
their own.
And there's a lawyer who was one of the participants who did like a weekly video.
Hmm.
And he's an older gentleman, but he's an interesting guy. But and the company is actually funded by the university.
Uh-huh. Yeah, if you got a link of something, Ken, could you send it to me? Because
Yeah.
the trail seemed to be kind of petered out for me, but maybe I didn't go far enough. Yeah. But I feel this word succinct hanging over my head, and I want to kind of try to keep it succinct, you guys. And so we've talked about production numbers, users of the glove. I know that's a very primitive survey. It's the so I need some help, and I'm getting help on that from a neurologist at UT in Houston. Um, while we're kind of on the idea of like how the nonprofit is working, so we do have two active grants, and and so far, that it's a lot easier to get grants for education than it is for manufacturing, especially since we're new, right? And also, I mean, I'm an educator. I'm not a manufacturer yet. And so these are grants. The first one is helping us build a capstone course at the high school. Um, and then the second one is about how to actually replicate that capstone course at other high schools and even other middle schools in New Mexico. And so the the capstone course it's a small grant for $25,000, largely paying our college and high school interns, but it does promise 50K a year over the next three, or you can enter after this to get 50K a year over the next 3 years to kind of grow your nonprofit. So that's real money. And the Encantado Foundation has only $10,000 to do teacher training. So Janice and Lynn and I, the teachers in Espanola, will be training other teachers in Santa Fe on kind of 5 Saturdays in the spring, 5-hour trainings to more or less how to replicate what we're doing, design and manufacture in a school, and connecting to people with Parkinson's. And the people at Encantado, they're connected to local healthcare foundations in Santa Fe. So again, there's a possibility once now that we have their funding that will be part of a portfolio that they'll introduce to larger healthcare funding, which would cover the glove manufacturer and not just teacher and student training. But if we are to do kind of teacher training, well, no, we are. So we're doing it, but I'm also doing it kind of in some type of unofficial way to other groups outside of the states that want to start making these gloves, without having everything filtered through New Mexico. So I'm working with a group in Santiago and a group in Cape Town, sharing training materials on how they can build glove workshops there. And that requires that we kind of have a repository of designs and code and apps. So I don't need to kind of take you through that, but that's something that's getting built out so that if you did want to have a weekend build someplace or sponsor something in your own community, there'll be kind of fresh materials there with videos and how-tos and bills of material, yada yada yada. So that's just upcoming. This will be rolled out for sure in the spring, but it's being built on the fly right now. Um, in addition, I've been recording, I think this is maybe our 15th session or something like that. We began meeting on Monday nights in June, every week for a while, and then we kind of stretched it to 2 weeks. And those recordings were sitting on a kind of a Zoom disk related to my college. I'm trying to pull things away from the college into the nonprofit. So we now have a YouTube channel for Espanola GloveWorks, and there's a playlist for all the videos. It should make them a lot easier to find, you guys. And so there's a link. And I think probably if you just search on YouTube for Espanola GloveWorks, I don't imagine there's many repeats of that. But there's a link. And that link is also on our Espanola GloveWorks webpage, right? So we've got a YouTube channel and a playlist. So tonight's recording will go up on YouTube tomorrow. Okay. Um, that's my succinct update. There's a few other things going on. I'm still concerned with board development. I'm still trying to find insurance. I'm meeting with a bookkeeper on Thursday to see if I can hand her our books and have her help me with taxes for the year. Um, as I apply for insurance, the insurance forms are asking every other question says, "Have you passed this by legal?" Right? And of course, we don't have any legal right yet. Julie is helping me kind of think about writing a budget. So these are all kind of growing pains for a nonprofit. I recognize those things, and I don't feel. Um, I feel like the kind of the Christmas break is a time for me maybe to get my head around those things while I'm not teaching and the like. Um, but there's quite a bit of anticipation on what our Glove Assistant app might look like, right? So Ken H has kind of already mentioned it this evening. This will be a place where we can kind of gather input, kind of subjective and input from the user, but also more quantitative input from the user as we monitor their voice and monitor their gait. And maybe eventually monitor muscle activity. That thing is kind of that's still a hot item for me, but I'm not really ready yet to bust that out in January and February with the rest of the stuff. I don't want to hold back releasing the app. So I think going after voice and gait is enough. Voice and gait and a few other things. So let me kind of give you guys just a quick view of what that app is looking like right now, at least the main screens. So that app is being developed in Android Studio. Um, and so this is an emulator inside Android Studio. We don't need to look at any code. Um, and so we'll be able to monitor your gait, and this is all going to be done, at home, non-invasively, just from your phone. Um, your phone has an accelerometer, so you put the phone in your pocket, or we may be sending out some type of thigh straps or leg straps, or even kind of waistbands for you to be able to wear this in when we start the real trials. Voice analysis, you just kind of speak into the phone. Uh, Glove control, some people have already been testing that part of the app already. So that's the ability to change the motor intensity and the timing patterns of the stimuli into the fingers. The symptom tracker is kind of the newest stuff, and really Margaret Zach, the nursing professor in the room tonight, has been kind of taking the lead and helping the students kind of ask the right questions. The settings are already just basically some type of kind of onboarding information. So this is Steve. I'm an anonymous 65-year-old that doesn't have PD, but I'm happy to share motion and voice data. But we can reset and re-onboard. So then, as you onboard onto the app, it just wants to ask kind of the key questions about who you are, whether the app has permission to save certain data, and then what are the symptoms that you find most troubling with Parkinson's. And so
How many of the clubs that you made can access the app?
that's a good question, Ken. So I would say I think pretty sure the last 60 or 70. That's a good question. Um,
Because I've got the very early gloves and I know it won't, so I
Gotcha.
need to replace them.
Yeah. So if you also have very early gloves, then yeah, then I think you should request a new set. Yeah. Yeah. At this, I guess you know, shipping is so ridiculous these days. But also you can send them back and we can just upload that with the newest software. I do have an engineer working with me who's kind of helping us try to do kind of software updates without sending them through the mail. Kind of like the way that Tesla does software updates of your vehicle, without taking it to the dealership. So that's another kind of thing that's happening. But yeah, if you I'd be happy to send you fresh brains, Ken. And I mean the brains that go on their wrist, right? For the yeah. Uh, so um, so there's a brief questionnaire about, kind of which you guys have been speaking about already, right? I mean, how often, what kind of daily activities, yada yada yada, that you're so oh, I guess I do need to fill that out anyway. So I'll just kind of get started, and then just kind of functionality wise, I mean these are just a few blanks of a few screens, right? So on the gate monitor, um, there'll be kind of instructions about where to put the phone, and then when to press start, and then there's going to be a chart of the acceleration that it's being measured over time. A couple of charts, in fact, as kind of different epochs as you walk, and then that data is then used to score, right? And the score basically is, how even is your gait, right? So and again, this is not just Steve making some stuff up, and that we saw there's a decent literature on how to score gait. There's a decent literature on how to, as you speak into the phone, kind of collect samples. And again, no chart data available because I'm just here in the emulator. I'm not really holding my phone up to you. I'm showing you what this looks like kind of in the studio that's building the app, right? Um, And a similar thing for glove control. So whether you can change the amplitude of the stimuli, whether you can change the pattern duration, how long does it take to go across all four fingers, and then how long is an individual finger bursted for, right? And so right now, you guys are getting 100% stimulation. We can kind of back that down if it's too intense. The pattern duration is about 668 milliseconds, and the burst duration per finger is 100 milliseconds. Um, but that will be integrated eventually, Ken, with all these other apps. And then the symptom tracker, right, is um, after you're onboarded, and we know kind of what questions to ask about medications, um, and about lifestyle, and about exercise, and about kind of cognitive abilities or disabilities. And then kind of a quick 8 questions on PD that were kind of still under development. And together, the gait monitor, the voice analysis, and the symptom tracker will help us guide you, or again, probably through AI, will help you guide you to do better glove control, to find the sweet spot. We saw roughly 10% of people having significant effect from the glove, another 40% having moderate impact. Again, it's my hope to grow that 10 into the 40 by better tuning of the glove to meet the symptoms. How do we know what the symptoms are if we're not really seeing people, right? So this is something that can be done at home non-invasively. So that's what the app is looking like at present. And I'm just sitting here in the Android studio, where my team and I are developing this app. My name is Android. Cool. So let me go back to, yeah, so the next steps then, as far as where we're at in the process, is that I really do need to nail down the questions that we're going to be asking. And I need to get kind of informed consent from you all that we can use this data. And so I want to gather data from Glove users. That's you all. And again, either from the app and the way you saw it kind of being fleshed out, but also for a survey, because I'm really now I'm working in parallel. I think I mentioned to you I'm fortunate to have a graduate student in computer science at UNM. University of New Mexico. And through Ali and that student, we will be doing kind of clinical trials of the app um, to try to understand, can we gather enough data through the app to really better inform the glove settings. So that's one direction for an IRB kind of survey that we need approval for. And another direction just came up, and I maybe mentioned it briefly in our last meeting, but I work very closely with a neurosurgeon at University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston during my previous career in Houston. And he reached out to me recently. He's moved from doing epilepsy uh, neurosurgery to DBS. His father has Parkinson's, and he wants to help us understand, can the glove be seen during DBS, right? So as he's drilling these deep holes into the head, which we learned about from Conwar, and even placing electrodes there, can we detect the impact of the glove? Is it just happening through plasticity and cortex, or is it really affecting the deep brain structures that are really yeah, the key criminals in Parkinson's? Can we, as he listens to the subthalamic nucleus, that's the place where the electrodes really are. That's the place where DBS is typically, doing its best. While he's there with the glove on a patient, can he detect any signal, any change in local field potentials from the glove? Um, and so I really see in the spring these kind of next steps having two kind of clinical trials, one in efficacy of the app and the other in efficacy of the glove. Can it be detected while the surgeon is in the basal ganglia? And for at least for a few of the, or maybe not a few. So for one type of DBS, there's now a few vendors that are actually selling these electrodes and the corresponding accoutrement of how to stimulate. The one from Medtronics, you can be streaming data even after the head is closed up, right? And so it continues to take measurements. Ideally, it's taking those measurements so that it can only deliver the DBS stimulus, when it's needed. So that's kind of like what we're talking about, trying to deliver the right glove stimulus, when it's needed. So I'm extremely excited about these things, and Ken Heitkamp was mentioning kind of the Rice Group going in beta trials, and so the UT Health Science Center at Houston is literally across the street from Rice, and so I'm planning to spend my spring break there, trying to help launch these clinical trials at UT Health Science Center at Houston, and it would also give me a chance to powwow with the Rice Group that's going into beta trials with their glove. See what we can learn from them. The next two steps on our agenda is for Steve to let go a little bit, right, and try to open it up to updates from you all, questions you may have, or observations for one another. And I think that's best to do that while Steve isn't hugging the screen.
You should tell them to.
And a few folks have joined us since we got started, so it's great to see you, Betsy and Frank and Linda, Aruna.
Right.
Welcome.
I was wondering if anyone has noticed a worsening of symptoms.
I have received one. Yeah, there was a woman, one patient. She said that she felt that her tremor had gotten worse after wearing them once. Yeah.
Okay.
More than once?
So I guess she just decided that that they weren't for her, and so she just sent the gloves back. So it wasn't. It's not a very systematic test, right? But
No, not one time.
yeah, yeah.
I often notice not until the next day, and then there's no tremor all day,
Mhm.
and that's my major symptom. but
So
then
we,
it comes back.
then it comes back.
And I
Gotcha.
tried when your survey was, never, occasionally, or all
Yeah.
the time. I mean, I probably wear them 2 days out of 3, but it wasn't, so I had to choose occasionally, but
Mhm. But you're finding moderate impact, Betsy? Is that what you?
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And just feeling looser. I
Hmm.
don't back up in the kitchen because it's easier than turning to the refrigerator.
How long have you been wearing them?
Um, Gosh, maybe several months. Not sure when I started exactly. It is tedious sitting still, but I'm worried that they're too delicate to really do a whole lot of physical activity. I have a bicycle pedaling thing, which is motored, but I sit with that, so I'm getting some kind of movement.
I mean, we are sending the new ones out with 4 straws, like Ken Heikamp's idea. So we're the chimney is now partitioned into 4 pieces, and there's 4 straws, which that gives some structural stability. It also allows us to route those wires without getting them tangled. Are your wires tangled, Betsy, or are they in separate channels?
They're kind of tangled. They may, but I don't know that it makes that much difference with which finger gets which wire.
It doesn't, yeah, since it's random, it doesn't matter which one, as long as.
What I do is um, put the box underneath my hand
Uh-huh.
on the back,
Gotcha.
on the bottom of my wrist, keep the paddles, and they're facing up, and I could just put my hand in.
Gotcha.
So the
Gotcha.
wires are beneath it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't get much done with just my thumb, but I can with my index finger. So I've put one on my thumb now and
I
keep my
see.
index fingers out.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the straws I'm sure will make me feel more secure to move around more.
Mhm.
Is that something that can be retrofitted to? I got these just maybe 3 weeks ago, so I'm kind of new to the group and new to the glove.
Yeah, yeah. We can definitely yeah. Let me make a brief video on how to send straws down those tubes. Yeah, yeah. You can definitely retrofit that, Bob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
found my main challenge has been to try to get the 2 hours in the morning and 2 in the afternoon.
Hmm.
That's inspirational, but I feel like I'm able to do at least a couple hours a day, maybe more.
And you how long have you had them? Just a couple of weeks, you said.
I think I got them 3 weeks ago.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like I'm not sure if it's related, but on a few occasions, maybe 4 or 5 occasions, I've kind of felt like my gait just kind of smoothed out.
Hmm.
And you know, for a half a day, maybe it kind of felt like it was approaching normal, not normal, but I take a couple mile hike in a fairly hilly terrain. And I went out one day last weekend and I hesitate to say I felt normal, but it felt pretty
Uh-huh.
close to normal. But that I can't count on it doing that every time. But again, I'm not sure how long and how consistently how long I need to be wearing the gloves and how
Yeah.
consistent my 2 hours morning and afternoon.
Yeah, I think we're still I'm still eager to figure out what is the right time, and it's not there's not one size that fits all either. So we're all just feeling this out. So Lauren, please.
How did the team come up with the recommendation of 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours at night?
Yeah, so I think that was early um, early work by Toss, right? So that when he decided to run a clinical trial, that seemed to be kind of enough time for them to expect some impact. Yeah, and so
Uh-huh.
it's a very rough number, and there are only 6 people in the trial, and there's not been a published trial since then, and so it's it's frustrating, right? That so little science has gone into this, as you say, this kind of tedious number of 4 hours a day is a significant fraction of your waking life, right? So.
So when
Hey,
I,
Steve,
oh,
Yeah, yeah.
it's Nico Harmon. I'm not on video today.
Yes,
Um,
Nico.
I- Along this line of discussion, it's clearly like a cumbersome device to wear, and it impedes, if you will, daily living. And I had two comments I wanted to make. One was about the beach band, which there seems to be a lot of interest in some of the Parkinson's communities, and specifically the Health Unlocked forum. And people are really excited about it because it's easy to use, and they forget that they're wearing it. It doesn't kind of impede their life. So I just wanted to put that out there because obviously it's impacting the brain in a different way. I don't know that it's working through the Pacinian pathway. It might be more like vagus nerve oriented, but it'd be interesting to kind of consider that versus the vibration on the four fingers.
Yeah.
And maybe you can achieve the same thing.
No, that's
and then and then the second point I wanted to make about time was I watched several interviews of Dr. Toss, and he admitted that the time that they chose for the trials was probably more than was necessary, but they obviously were biased towards receiving positive results.
Yeah, getting results. Yes. Yeah. Thanks, Nico. Yeah, I mean that's the beach band thing is just a small. It's almost even kind of sub-threshold stimulus vibrating the wrist.
What is he talking about, Steve? I'm not familiar with what he mentioned.
It's a beach band. I can put a link in the chat. Okay, you guys. And I think some of us. I think in the past there have been one or two members that have given it a try.
It's called the Beach Band.
Beach Band, yeah.
Who is that made by?
It came out of England. Just recently got clinical trial, got FDA approval in the States. Nico, please.
Yeah, it's spelled Beech, named after the founder Carl Beech, and you can find it on the internet.
Okay, so this is fairly new, and it's already getting results.
Yeah, it's newer, I think, than the Q, right? The Q is a similar thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Q works on your sternum.
Yeah.
I watched an interview with Carl Beech last week, and he said about 25% of the people are getting immediate results, and the other 75% take anywhere from 2 to 4 months to see results.
And this is on PD patients, Jennifer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's got PD himself.
Yeah.
Oh, does
and
it?
He had almost miraculous results on his voice in the videos.
Oh, so there's videos of this too.
This is a place we could go next time. If you guys want to take a deeper dive into the beach band, we can talk about that next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to put the Q on the same page.
Yeah. I don't mean to shut down discussion of that. But thank you, Nico. Lauren, did you have a?
Yes, I did. When I first received the gloves a number of weeks ago, and I used them for about an hour or so, took them off, and I had no tremor at all, and I was amazed. Anyway, since then, I've been wearing them typically an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening. And I had very poor sleep before wearing them. And now I'm like, I sleep through the night. In the morning, I have to put an alarm on to wake up. I had very restful sleep. It's been fantastic. But I wasn't sure if it was helping me with the tremor. I associated it with sleep, but I didn't know about the tremor. So my sister's been visiting me for a week, and yesterday we were sitting and I started having a lot of tremor. I had taken a carbidopa, levodopa, but I put the gloves on. Within 15 minutes of putting the gloves on, my body was completely calm. Now, I don't typically get that result from just taking a pill.
Mhm.
So I attribute it to the gloves as well. So my big struggle is how do I how do I associate the result of the gloves with experiences that I have? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with the information. I don't know how to record it. I'm looking for some guidance on how to be a better participant in this effort, and being able to provide results that are reasonable for
Yeah.
consideration.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Lauren. That's super thoughtful, and that's where um, I think we're finally converging, at least on a early version of the app, right? That will learn how to ask the right questions and to allow us to kind of gather information. So we need to know. Um, we need to know about, well, let's just, for sure we need to ask about, and as you're getting onboarded, you will tell us that tremor, and sleep are two issues that you want to track, right? And so then we'll help you track those as well as exercise and diet and kind of daily dosage. Um, and then we'll be measuring, quantifying your gait and your voice. And so, but maybe rigidity is not such an important symptom for you, and your voice seems quite strong as well. So, I'm not sure those things will be quantitatively, significant for us. But it's just right now right now we have 100 gloves out there and in a really sparse data set that's we're not asking the right questions. So you're not alone in wanting. I think everyone that's here tonight wants to be, wants their data to be their experience, right? To be more impactful on better design of the glove or better design even on the protocol. I mean, going from 4 hours to 2 hours it would be a significant improvement in recommendation. I agree. The best thing was to take it off the fingers. So kind of Nico pushing us to take a closer look at the beach band is also something we need to be thinking about. Um, so I guess all I can say, Lauren, is ask you to kind of be patient with us, and I'm hoping that we can deliver an app that starts asking those right questions and helps us collect the right data so that we can help you better tune the glove. Because I agree. I don't think the glove should be taking credit for all of your improvements. We can't, we have to find a better ways to tease that out.
But I'm
Steve, could
I'm
I?
really happy with them. Very happy with them, and I appreciate the work that you and the students are doing to
Yeah.
help us.
Thank you, Lauren. Julie?
I had yeah, I had a thought about. I've been thinking about this. How we're kind of all over the map at this point, and we're until we get the app. So there's a lot of energy going into producing the app for
Yes,
the spring.
yes.
In the meantime, I was thinking about starting a log,
Hmm.
and if those of us who are using them, I don't know, is it just an idea, Lauren? I don't know if this appeals to you, but where you'd write down the date and then maybe like five things: how long you wore the gloves, what time of day, and maybe what symptoms, like you were saying, better sleep last night, or I don't know, just maybe five factors or something. But where those of us who want to, like, maybe it would just be interesting from now till March if we kept logs, some numbers could be crunched. It just might be interesting. I don't know.
I like your recommendation, Julie. I think I'll do exactly that starting tomorrow.
Well, the APDA does have a symptom tracker format that has been developed through this society.
Is it really long or is it short or what?
I haven't really studied it. I just know that they have a symptom tracker.
Okay, well, Lauren, why don't you and I connect and let's create a log so we both log the same things,
Perfect.
just for fun.
Good. Stephen, could you help us share our contact information, Julie
Yes,
and
yes.
mine?
I'll do that. I'll do that, Lauren, Julie.
Thank
Margaret?
you,
That's
Julie.
good.
Could you give me screen share? I can show you some of the questions that we talked with the students, and maybe I could just send this Word document to you guys.
Yeah, yeah. You should be able to share.
Um,
Do you not see
okay,
it?
let me. So this was sort of like a brief half page kind of draft that we were talking like what are your meds, and then in the past week have you experienced fewer off periods on your medicine? Have you felt the need to cut back on your daily meds? In the past week, how were the following symptoms compared to the prior week? And then either significantly worse, somewhat worse, about the same, somewhat better, or significantly better. And then if you don't have that symptom, you could, if it's not something that impacts you, just not applicable. And then have sort of the main symptoms. I'd be happy to send that along if you thought that would be helpful.
Yeah, I'd like to have a copy of that. I mean, I
I'll
think
send it
I,
to, yeah, I'll send it to Steve, and then you guys can just sort of add to it or modify it as you see fit.
okay.
Okay.
The Pro PD app by Dr. Mishley is really great for tracking, and I encourage everybody to check it out. You can track your symptoms as frequently or as infrequently as you want, and it's great to have a document that shows your progress over time.
What was the name of it again?
It's called PROPD,
Uh-huh.
Pro
And
PD, and it's by Dr. Mishley,
Dr.
who
Mish,
is
okay.
yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard of her before, but she's pretty amazing, and she's got a lot of information about Parkinson's. She's a naturopathic doctor that specializes in Parkinson's and has done a ton of research and has a clinic in Seattle. Her last name is Michley.
Okay.
Dr. Lori Mishley, Michley.
A lot of great YouTube
Thank
videos
you.
also.
Mhm.
I did want to point out one quantifiable thing that I pay attention to is my walking asymmetry on my iPhone health app. Does anybody ever look at that?
Yep.
Kind of feel like maybe my walking asymmetry is somewhat improved over the last couple of weeks. I want to do a longer, again, try to get more consistent wear and I'll track it over a longer period. But that's something we probably all have something like that in our phone right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, that's an important measurement that I watch too.
Other points, other discussion? Let me try to um, help us kind of wrap this up. So summary of highlights of what we've heard and implications for next steps. So we're talking about. I mean, so I think Margaret, I'd like to just put. Let me take the notes that you've generated. I know they've been kind of for internal stuff, but we're about ready to finalize those things. So let me put that survey right on the webpage and share that with and I'll tell everybody where it is, right? So I'm gonna share our kind of um, draft of kind of the symptom log, for lack of a better word. We need a symptom tracker, symptom log. And as you know, as folks are mentioning, they're already out there, right? This is not really an innovation. Our innovation is going to be like tying this to something that does something, right? So a lot of these trackers or logs, they're just places it's good to be able to track these things and to really understand whether we're making progress or not. But I want this data to be actionable, right? I want it to improve the glove, right? And so that's what we're after. And so it's not just kind of lifting those. I want to lift good questions out of those apps. So I know that we heard about PD Pro from Nico. Another thing to look at was the beach band. Um, we looked at the queue briefly, early on over the summer. That was before the beach band had come out, and so this is This is wrist vibration.
Hmm.
Um,
Steve, this is Nico again. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of products that activate the vagus nerve, including the ones that you mentioned. The one is a medallion that you wear on your chest, and it's a vibration.
mhm.
None of them have been as focused on Parkinson's as the
Right.
beach band,
Uh-huh.
and it's really interesting. It's very similar to a product that's called the Apollo Neuro, and it's also a wrist-worn watch-like product. It's very slim and lightweight and rechargeable, and it has a single vibrator in there, a tactor like we have in the fingers of the gloves, and the beach band has in their product too. And they have a variety of different vibes, they call them, which are different patterns, intensities, and frequencies, and so forth. And that's a much more expensive product. It sells for like $400 or $500 and has a subscription model to access additional vibes, they call them.
Uh-huh.
The beach band is really focused on Parkinson's, and it's retailing for under $100 delivered. And so I think that it would be very easy to kind of get lost in seeing all the different technologies that are out there, because there's a lot, but really focus in on the ones that are aimed at Parkinson's specifically.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to the beach band.
Gotcha.
And then also the symptom tracker by Lori Mishley is Pro PD, and they have an app, and they will keep track of your data over time. I've been doing it for 3 or 4 years, and I can see the progression of my symptoms in 32 different areas over time.
Nico, do you do that weekly or twice a month? How often are you doing it?
Well, I aspire to do it twice a month.
Okay.
And sometimes I do, and other times I go for 6 months or so without doing it. It takes the first time maybe about 15 minutes to set it up. It's a self-reported journal, if you will, of 32 different issues, everything from gait to incontinence issues, sleep, and it's rated on a scale of 0 to 100. And it's self-reported, so that in itself is a little bit of a problem. But the more you do it, the more comfortable you become with the ratings that you're giving yourself.
Yeah. Do you find that, do you think that one of the things the students have been really focused on is how do we get the most bang for our buck, in terms of like, if they feel like if they make it too long, too involved, that participants might not want to spend all that time if we're asking them to do it weekly. But if it's something they can get done in under 5 minutes, that would be an incentive. But then we realize that they'd be sacrificing also getting some information.
Yeah, user compliance is a huge problem. However, think about it. The people with PD are very motivated. And so you're more likely to get compliance, and especially if they know that they're part of something that's growing. And in terms of how long it takes, I would say that it might take 6 minutes to 25 minutes, depending on, your cognitive state.
Sure.
And I think it's really rewarding, though, because it gives you like an objective way to look at where you are. And it asks a bunch of questions, like some of them might be embarrassing that you wouldn't want to tell your neighbor, but they're based on the development of the various protocols that doctors and scientists use to determine if you have Parkinson's or not.
Yeah.
So I would encourage, everybody to just check it out. There's there's no obligation or no commitment. And it's just a really interesting set of questions. And Dr. Mishley has spent a lot of energy creating curriculum. I think she's got a Parkinson's University. It's online. And she's really into educating, and she's also into alternative forms of healing, including self-healing. And so part of her work has been to track diet. And so based on the data that she's developed, she can tell you what are the things that people eat that lead to the greatest improvements. And so, you know, she won't say, don't eat steak or beef. What she'll say is the data shows that people that eat beef don't score as well. Mm. So, you know, it's really interesting, and it's growing like a snowball rolling down the hill. And the more people that look at it and learn about it and consider it, and she's got a lot of dozens of hours of courses on the various aspects of issues around having Parkinson's, and diet is just part of it. And so if people are really into it, you know, all the information you could ever imagine is there. But the point is that she's developed this curriculum and methodology for reporting, and it's really amazing.
Great. I'll take a look at that tomorrow, Steve, and then see if there's anything we want to add in.
Thanks, Margaret. Yeah, thank you, Nico.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I mean the Parkinson's University as well, and kind of the open to non, you know, open to things other than just drugs and surgery is also a welcome place to look. Thank you, Nico. So I've got 807. Speaking of Parkinson's University, I've been dying to talk about Parkinson's sleep, especially since Lauren's been kind of hanging it out in front of us, and a number of us have mentioned, you know, the impact of sleep. But I don't want to put you to sleep by doing this, you know, late at night on a Monday. So I'm going to postpone this once again. But I really would like your feedback, continued feedback, right? So we've been meeting every 2 weeks. In 2 weeks' time, it's going to be the 29th of December, right? And I think we should all, I recommend we take a break. That we basically kind of jump over the 29th, and then meet again, you know, on the 12th to kind of keep in multiples of 2. So that would mean meeting again on January 12th. Any strong for or against?
Stephen, would we have action items that we should be pursuing in preparation for the meeting on the 12th?
That's it.
So I just keep thinking, what can I do to help contribute?
Yeah. So I think if you and Julie want to grab on to the log that Margaret's built, and Margaret's going to maybe do a little bit of research based on kind of pro PD it'll be a living document, right? This log is going to try to hit the sweet spot, right? We want buy-in from folks, but that means, you know, having it not take more than half an hour to fill out, yada yada yada. So I think just initially, Lauren, if you and Julie can work on that, on the log,
right, Julie?
Yeah,
we'll take that on.
Yeah, and I was going to say too that just to make it simple, maybe we could, if you'd like, Steve, we could all think what should be what we'd like to see on the next agenda or agendas coming up.
Yeah.
And send you a little email.
That'd be great.
And then you sort through it, maybe prioritize or say, yeah, this for January, this one won't be, you know, and so forth. But have some items that we might suggest.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so on on the 5th of January, I'll send out a reminder that we're going to meet again on the 12th, and I'll solicit agenda items. Okay?
There you go.
Yeah. Um,
Steve, thank you for posting all those sessions that you started with. I started watching them today, and I'm happy to be able to go back and learn about some of the things you talked about before I joined you.
that's great, Jennifer. Yeah, yeah. Because I spent some time curating them, and so I like when they get more than 0 hits and things like that. So
No,
thank
it's
you.
very helpful, and I
Thanks for
like
that.
learning about the science.
Mhm. Yeah, the science is fascinating, and so I mean, I have kind of a track I'd like to start following in the spring, but we'll talk about that. It's already 10 past 8, and so yeah, so I guess one it'd be super helpful, right? Kind of for agenda items, even if you don't really have a particular action item. If you have a preference, for how to balance our discussions, um, would you like to hear? Would Do you like the kind of the back and forth that we're having, or do you want science, or maybe we do one back and forth like this, and then the next meeting is all just about a science presentation. It seems difficult to maybe do both of them, right? We kind of there's
Mhm.
so much to talk about on both fronts, and so I'm not sure if I'm being clear, but I look forward to having you guys kind of help me sculpt the best sessions we could be doing, and putting too much. The agenda today was too packed. We could not do all 10 items. So it's not a failure. It's just a realization. Um, there's so many things to share. Also, when we're welcoming new folks with varied experience, I don't want to cut this short. At the same time, I want to continue our kind of our knowledge base of what's going on in the brain, so that we can be more systematic in understanding how the glove works or doesn't. Yeah.
Why don't you, I'd be fine with you starting out with a science presentation the next time. I like every other time, just to make sure that, I mean, you're a neuroscientist and you know stuff that we don't. So I'd be interested in hearing it.
That's a good idea.
Thanks,
I
Bob.
agree.
That's helpful. Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
helpful.
I agree. Steve, maybe there could be a different meeting where people could interact with each other more,
Hmm.
and maybe moderated, and certainly notes taken from it. Whereas the evening discussion, for example, could be focused on science and more directed towards the development of the programming and the university work that you're doing. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I'm with you, Nico. I think this is, yeah, we may be coming to a kind of a delta somehow, right? And just kind of, instead of trying to throw everything into the pot, we're trying to do a lot. Yeah.
One other thing I'll say, and then I'll sign off and shut up. But having founded and run a nonprofit for 10 years, be careful you don't burn yourself out. There's always, whatever you give a nonprofit, it goes 40 hours a week. That's good. What else you got? 50
Yeah.
hours, 60 hours. So uh, don't burn yourself out. Just do what you can do and then call it a day and then live to fight another day.
Thanks, Bob. That's helpful. I feel the same sage advice I'm getting from Nico as well. So that's that. It's well. Um, I'm grateful for it. I'm not. I can't promise that I'll be able to follow it, but yeah. So
yeah,
um,
yeah.
um,
Well, I
I'm
think we're all grateful for the effort and the dedication that you put into this, Steve. And I'm grateful, and I just want to say thank you.
Same
Thanks,
for
Nico.
me, Steve. This
Yeah.
is phenomenal. Getting access to you and this project has been amazing to me. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Betsy. I wish you guys all peaceful holiday. Maybe I hope I pray for a few symptom-free hours for all of you. You know, yeah, more than a few, but in reality, yeah. And I'll send out a note in January preparing us for our next gathering, or gatherings perhaps, if we want to divide and conquer.
And Steve, we're doing a holiday party with the kids, right, on
Yes.
Friday. So
Yeah, yeah.
maybe we could make a video and of the kids and share it with you guys because
Oh, that would be so cool.
it's I think it's wonderful when you guys are having impacts from it, but I wish you knew where we were because our kids need this too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's positive all around.
Yeah, this is the last week of school at the high school. The college grades were due today. But we'll throw a holiday party this Friday in Miss Janice's class. Yeah, and it's a great idea, Margaret, to kind of there's been amazing energy on occasion on these Fridays together. So it'd be great to share that with y'all. Right, Alicia? Okay, cool, cool. Um, Then I'll stick around if people want to have any kind of last minute things they want to discuss. Otherwise, I really, really, truly wish you guys a happy New Year, and I'll see you in January.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.